San Diego ATD Get Good with Storyline Workshop. I'm John Morley, an instructional designer and an external consultant. So if I can help you with a project, my email address is in the chat window. Hey, that's me. Who are
hmm
you? If you would please take a moment to enter your name and where you're logging in from into the chat window. And if you'd like to network with the other participants, adding your email address would make that a whole lot easier. And now we are going to have a word from our sponsor. Chapter meeting, ATD, our monthly chat meeting will be a week from tonight, April 25th. Haven't figured out exactly where it's going to be, but you can follow up with the on the website to find out where that will be. Shared programming by ATD and ISPI SoCal is the first Friday roundtable. This time we'll be talking about drip feeds to revolutionize learning retention. I've often referred to this as space training. Understand that space training works better. So this is a discussion thereof. And after that, typically this is the first Tuesday, but next month it will be the second Tuesday. We'll be talking about technology, in this case, design engineering with Carl Binder. Really sharp guy. I've heard him in person back when ISPI actually had in-person events. Very worthwhile. And then same time, same station next month, third Thursday, I will be back with some tips and tricks associated with Storyline. Next month, the ATD in May, the ATD chapter meeting will be, and we know where this one is, Stone Brewing, Liberty Station. Really nice place to visit. No one knows everything about Storyline, especially me. So this is our opportunity to talk shop, and tonight we are fortunate indeed to have Jodi Sansone as our guest speaker. Jodi has agreed to take us behind the curtain on our current entry into Articulate Storyline Challenge, and we'll work in a bit of AI, the current buzz. Jodi is a celebrity on Articulate's e-learning challenge, being at the top of their leaderboard for 10 years. So we're fortunate and honored to have her speaking. And I think she has stuff she can tell us. She's earned a BA from Northwestern University and an MBA from New York University. So she knows her business and has earned very numerous certifications, too numerous to mention. Jodi has helped improve job performance at clients including Leo Burnett Worldwide, which is a big deal ad agency. If you're familiar with the Mad Men television series, this could have been what they evolved into had they done everything right. Probably with less personal drama, but who am I to say how much personal drama there is anyway? She's also worked for Revlon. You've probably heard of that. Omnicom, Seattle Genetics, the U.S. Air Force. I'm sure you've heard of that, and many other clients. And Jodi has an extensive tarot card collection. But don't make any assumptions here. She makes no claims about seeing or interpreting the future. You can contact Jodi at the email address in the chat window. Okay, well, Jodi, with that, we'll turn it over to you, and I look forward to hearing what you got.
Well, thanks for inviting me to present, because it's actually, I know Daniel said this is relaxing to him, and I also find this fairly relaxing, especially around happy hour time. So I actually told everybody today, I usually have wine about now, but I'll wait until I'm done, just so I can do the screen sharing right. So anyway, today, when John asked me to participate, which is actually fun, there's been a lot going on in some of my demos lately on using variables. So I thought, okay, that might be a good one. And there was a great challenge recently in the community about using 3 different types of variables all in one project. And so I thought maybe that would be a fun one to look at today. So, and this is a pretty small group, so just stop me, if I'm going too slow, too fast, just just give me a wave. I'm going to turn off the gallery just so I can focus on what we're looking at here. So I had in mind to share 2 projects, and you guys, you can tell me which one you have the most interest in to start with. I have 2 that dealt with variables recently. They have 0 learning components to it. They were just for fun. They were just to make sure that I could remember how to do variables, because sometimes when I'm working on, you have like some pretty linear projects, but most of the demos that I do for the community, like Daniel, like, right, we have a lot of fun when we do them. So they're mostly for entertainment. So I've got one that uses all three kinds of variables. It's about making a customized cupcake with a message for your friend. And I'm happy to share that one. Or I have another one that was kind of gee, what would have happened if Leonardo da Vinci hadn't been born in 15 or 14 something? What if he had been born in a different time and place? What might have happened? And I used AI, that wasn't the technical part, but I used AI for support in both of these. So they're a little different, but both of them use variables. I put this in here, but it sounds like I'll stop in a second. We had a pretty experienced group here, so I just put like how I look at variables, but I'll stop. It sounded like John had a question.
No, I had a statement that
Oh, okay.
life is uncertain, so it's good to
Mhm.
have dessert first. So may,
Oh.
maybe we should see the cupcakes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Cupcakes first, or okay. The other one's quicker, so but yeah, I'm happy to do the cupcake one. So and I put this in here. I just wasn't sure if there'd be, how experienced everyone was was with working with variables, but this is when I feel like variables is one of those things that every time I do it, I feel like I'm learning it over and I get a mental block and I can't remember how to do it. So I always use this like a little cheat sheet for me to remind me what the variables do. And so like a text variable is just like a bucket that holds words in it. And, if you want to carry it through your course, that's, that's a kind you would use there. A true false variable to me is like a light switch, either it's on or off, or you have to make a choice between a lot of things or a yes or no. That would be when you would use a true false variable. And a number variables, like actually they're pretty flexible, but you can store numbers and manage numerical values, or you can use a number variable to make a choice among many things. So I kind of like always use that as a starting point.
Always good to
Okay.
review the basics. And I think
Yeah.
variables is one of those words that seems a lot more mysterious to people who
Yes.
don't understand them when they first hear it.
And I spent I haven't been working for 10, well, yeah, actually I'm coming up on only 8 years working on Storyline, but I remember it was 2 years before I could figure out how to use one, a variable in a project. And it was almost like high school geometry. I had the same feeling. You're sitting in there, you're confused, you have no idea. I felt like I was never going to figure out how to use these variables. And then one morning I just woke up and it was like, oh, I get it. And it really helped to have examples to see how they work. But they're still very, like I said, every time I use one, I feel like I'm using it for the first time. So, okay, so you wanted to start with the cupcake one here?
That's
And
cute. Yes.
okay. So I'll just say this, I have my other last word of wisdom on this before we look at cupcakes. And this was the feeling I have every time I work with a variable. And this is it. I use the word darn tonight, but this thing won't do what I want it to do. It just does what I tell it to do. So when it's not working, I know it's because I didn't tell it, you know, I didn't tell it the right thing to do.
That's what
So,
computers do.
yeah, cupcakes. So let me find this guy. I'm gonna start with the audio on so you can see like the full effect that I had, but then I'll turn it down so we can talk about it. So, okay. So all my demos, if any of you ever want to see them, just go to the community page here. I try and keep up to date and put them all up there. And if you want to see them, I post them in the challenge itself. I'll share my file. I'm happy to give anybody any one of my files, so no problem. Okay, so cupcake. So you're gonna hear like I'm just warning you about the audio. It's Van Morrison's Brown-Eyed Girl that's behind it, and I'll turn it off in a minute. But I'll run through the first couple and then I have it up behind it, and we can take it apart. Okay, I'm launching. Here's the music coming. Okay, so you get like that was the Jimmy Buffett version of Van Morrison's song. So
Yeah, one of my
Okay.
favorites.
All right, so I'm going to make a cupcake for John. So the first, I guess like when I was putting this in, I was thinking, well, if you were going to go into a bake shop and order a cupcake and get a little card for someone, this is kind of like the process you would use. So the first thing they'd ask you, like, okay, who do you want to make the cupcake for? I want to make it for John. So this is a text variable that's going to carry through the project. Okay, and so here you can see is the variable's been carried through to that page, and we'll go over that. So now we got to choose a cupcake. And what you're seeing in this is all my cupcakes, and there's 12 of them. Um, these are the new emphasis animations that were just launched, and I didn't realize it until this project. You can put two emphasis animations on the same thing, so it's growing and teetering at the same time. But on this is the page that uses a true false variable because I want to pick one cupcake design out of all these 12. So I'm going to make this one for John with the cherry on top. And, you'll see here that this message, the button to move forward showed up. I didn't want anyone to be able to move forward without picking a cupcake, because if you don't pick a cupcake, you wreck what's coming up next. So now that I've chosen a cupcake, and you can choose any one of these. This is just a button set that's saying pick me or pick me. So we're going to pick that one there. Then on the next slide, here's John's cupcake. So it carried the true false variable onto this page. And then when we take it apart, we can see how that worked. And then here is the number variable. I have a random number variable back there that actually, when you click it, changes the message. So we've got the text variable that carried through right here, John's name, the true false variable that's directing what the cupcake should look like. And then here's the number variable that's saying there's 40 different little messages in here. So like think of it as a greeting card. And there's every time you click the button, another random one comes up. So, and this was the AI component. I wasn't smart enough to come up with 40 cute, you know, little greeting card recommend, greeting card notices. So I asked Chat GPT to generate 40 cheeky messages that maybe have the word sweet in it or have cupcake in it. So it did a pretty good job. So
I'm sure you could do it. It would just take a lot of your time.
yeah, and I wouldn't want to stand in Walmart and look at all the cards because that's probably what I would have thought to do. But Chat GPT, give me 40, 40, 25 word greeting card sentiments with sweet or cupcake or whatever in it. So, and then the only other thing I added with a little JavaScript that I stole from somewhere is up here on the top. If you wanted to, you can, I don't know why anyone would want to do this, but let's say we're a certificate instead of a cupcake. You can print out the certificate or the little card. So, okay. So, and if you didn't like the cupcake, you want to go back, we can pick a different one for John. And now you can see how that true false variable changes the cupcake. So let me stop, and I'm ready if you are. I can pull this project up and we can look and see how I built it.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm interested in the random number and how you use that to select the
Okay.
different
Okay.
ingredients.
Okay. Let me just make sure. Okay. You can see my storyline file here, right?
That's correct. It looks good.
Okay. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you. Okay. So let me look at my notes here. So this is a pretty straightforward linear. So we got like a little entry page, right? So just like an intro, hello, just kind of cute. Something to support, we're going to make cupcakes for somebody. This is the slide. Here's the text variable. And we just, whatever, it's pretty straightforward. It's a text box with a variable called friend's name. And I built it. I can show you. It sounds like you guys probably know how to build that. But do you want me just to focus on the random number variable, or would you interested in seeing how the true false works? Or
Sooner or later, whatever
okay,
sequence works best for you.
okay.
And
I'll just
Yeah, well, when you talk about the triggers, could you please open up, double click on them so we can see what the
Sure.
triggers look like?
Okay. And you can see it. Okay. We're trying to like balance big triggers versus like the picture. So, okay. So this one is, the only trigger on this one is created when you create a text box. So we'll just like put like a quick one in here. Okay, so if we're going to insert a text box or a text, it's one of the built-in inputs. So I'm going to create a text entry field. And there it is, all created for me, right? So this one is called just text entry, but the one I have was friend name. That was the one that I've been using, but this is the same process here. This one's an easy one. You just click the insert panel and you've got like a little text variable here. I think that in using these built-in things, like sometimes you get so many variables in it, you can't remember which one it is. But anyway, that's like a real easy one. I'll go back to the cupcakes and look at how the true false variable works. So, okay. And then we'll show the random number. So there's a couple things happening on this page. The first thing is that while it's loading, the text variable with where I had John's name is carried over here. So because I didn't fill it in, it's missing John's name. But if we had done it, would end up here. And I took out the entry animations and everything just so we wouldn't be distracted on it. But what I built here was a button set of 12 different cupcakes. So instead of 12 buttons, the cupcakes are buttons and they have two states. They're either selected or they're normal.
Did you use AI to create 12 different versions of a cupcake?
No, I had like some stock art.
Okay.
I mean, doesn't everybody have cupcake vector art hanging out on their desktop?
They should.
I do. So yeah, this is just some really cute vector art I was, just playing around with. So, okay, so this is the true false variable. And I created like for each cupcake, cupcake one, cupcake two, cupcake three, a light switch for each cupcake. So, and you can see, I put the references here so you can see what's happening. So I just did the top line there, the first six. So when cupcake one is chosen, it's true. When cupcake two is chosen, that one's true. When it's not chosen, it's false. So it's just turning them on because I needed a way to choose the cupcake. So I'll close that and I'll show you like the triggers. So the triggers are all of these are set at false to start out with. So set cupcake one to true when the cupcake is selected.
Mhm.
And it's got only two states. So it's basically saying it's changing the state of that cupcake from normal to selected. Okay, normal selected. And then here's cupcake number two. Like if cupcake number two is selected, then that one is true. And when it's not selected, it's false. So
And because it's a button set, you don't have to do anything to ensure only one can be selected at a time. Is that correct?
yeah, when you create the button set, it automatically creates the states for you. And then you
Okay.
can adjust them if you wanted. So I think when you create a button set, it gives you like 4 or 5 different states. And I just wanted normal or selected, on, off, on, off. And then I always try and, use like when I'm confused about what's going on in my own projects, like having the variable reference really helps. So,
And you would turn
so,
that off to release the project. Is that correct?
oh, yeah, I'd get rid of this. Yeah, I just did
Okay.
this for us because I wanted to show like what was happening when you click that. So,
Yeah, you can
yeah,
hide
sometimes
that.
I leave them in the background up here. No one sees them but me, but normally I just get rid of them. Okay. So on this side, you got to choose a cupcake. And then we go to this slide, which is kind of like the whole kit and caboodle. It carries through the text variable from the where we entered John's name, and it's carrying through the true false instructions right here. So let me just do that. So
Yeah, that's a lot of
let me just show
triggers.
you. Yeah, this one's got 12. So this one's 12. The one with the text will be bigger, you'll show. So it's got one cupcake with 12 different states. right? So here are all 12 cupcakes. And then when the slide starts, when the timeline starts on this slide, set the cupcake equal to the first one, right? Or cupcake number one, if cupcake number one is true. So whatever switch you turn on here gets carried over right here.
Yeah, that's a real
Okay.
clever use of the states.
I like, you know what? I use so much vector art that there's this great feature where you can just import the pictures as a state,
Mhm.
and then I just go in and rename them so that I remember what I'm doing. But yeah, it's like I think I started out, this is the base picture I started out with, and then I said edit the states, and I use this little button right here, the little picture button.
All right.
And you go and click it and it will go out and it'll look for, well, you probably can't see because I'm not sharing that, but we'll go out and look for the art that you want to create as a state. And then you just have to go, and it takes time. You just gotta like, rename it. 12 was plenty. I didn't feel like doing more than that, but
Yes.
and I'm sure like in some of these projects, people have like gazillion, right?
I think
So,
three would have gotten the point across.
oh yeah, that'd be no fun. I
Yeah.
had the time. Why not? Okay, so you were interested in um the random number variable, I think. Let me read
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Okay, so this one is 40 different triggers. I'm going to scroll down the trigger panel here and show you how this works. So I called it message. So this is the sentiment right here. And this has 40 different states.
Okay, you're using
So
states again.
yeah, there's number 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many states is, maybe Daniel knows. I don't know like how many possible states there are in a storyline, but there's 40 of them here. So I'll just scroll so you can see how many are there.
Yep, that's a bunch.
Yeah, and it's just a cut and paste job. So that's not the hard part. The harder part was paying attention when you're setting up these triggers because, and it is cut and paste. So set the sentiment, to number 3. But the thing that you asked about the random number variable here, how that worked, John, is every time someone presses this button, it generates a random number between 1 and 40.
Oh, so that's a built-in thing.
Yeah, it's just a trigger. So it's the
Hmm.
message is my set message to random. So message is my object, right?
Hmm.
With 40 different states. And it says, let me go back to that variable. So this is sorry, where did that variable go? There it is. So all this button is doing is going to 15. Here, I'll show you on the slide. I forgot that I can show you. I forgot I put the variable reference at the top. Thank you for reminding me of that.
There we go.
Okay, so here I'll show you so here's the message variable reference and
All right.
normally John's name would have been right here. We would have had a new cupcake, but every time I'm pressing this button, a random number is being generated. And then the random number says, okay, if the random number is 40, make it this message.
Hmm.
If it's 29, make it this message. So it's just scrolling through, and I thought 40 was enough so you wouldn't duplicate messages.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
if you have 8, you're going to have 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 4. This one, there's 40, there's enough until someone gets bored and clicks out of it. So,
Uh,
okay.
and
And then
some
if
of
you
these
want,
are pretty snarky. That's nice.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You like, you know, well, this one's a nice one.
Oh, truly.
I'm sure we find like, yeah, so they're just fun. They're like shoebox greeting card sentiments, right? So,
Yeah, that's good.
okay, so that's that one. What questions do you have or
If you could go back and show me the just double click on the trigger for the reset message that sets up the random
okay.
number. I'd like to see how to create that trigger.
Oh, the random number?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that one.
Okay. So
Just double click that to open it so I can see exactly what
see it bigger. Okay.
there we go.
So set the message, which is that little text box right there.
Mhm,
Oh, no, sorry. I have a random number variable called message.
mhm.
It's a number. And so that's the variable that's generating the number 1 to 40.
Okay.
Okay. So let me show it to you here in the panel. It's just, I needed a mechanism so that's what it looks like, here. So set the name is message and it's just a random number between any random number between 0 and 40. So it never goes less than 0 and it never goes more than 40. And
Right.
then this here is like when I click that button, generate a random number between 1 and 40. So,
Mhm. And then what triggers it to show the actual message?
oh, this I just have it set. This is the it's existing on there when the slide starts. This is
Oh,
the
oh,
normal state, this stress spelled
mhm.
backwards. So this one's always going to be the first one everyone sees. And when they press the button, it starts generating the new one.
Okay.
Okay, so let me open it up again. So this is the slide starts.
Right.
This is the normal state of this message.
Right.
And then this is the button that's generating the random number, right? So that generated a 4. And
Mhm.
then when the random number variable called message changes to 4, it shows this state.
So your second trigger is when random number changes, show this the corresponding message.
Correct.
You have two triggers: the
Yeah.
random number changes, and then the
The state changes. Yeah.
statement comes up. Right. Thank you.
Yep. And then like if you get sick of that cupcake, you go back, pick a new cupcake. This one changes and you could click away. Like I said, if I had had more energy, I would have done 100, but you know, 40 was like about my attention span.
And I think it's a
So,
very nice touch to have the print because this is the cute kind of thing you could print out and email to a friend just to say hello.
well, you could, or I always thought too, like this is like nice for a certificate. At the end of a course, like you could use all these principles. Like let's say you finished a big compliance course, hey, have a
Mhm.
cupcake, and you could generate your own certificate with your own award and your own, and you could just have fun with it.
Oh, that is
Jody,
super, super.
Jody, let me see if I can digress you for a second.
Sure.
This seems so straightforward. Could you imagine having ChatGPT develop a script like this just by your instructions?
I don't know. I haven't maybe Kevin could show us how to do that one night. I'm not that skilled on it, or maybe I'm not that trustful yet, and that would take away my fun.
Right, right.
Well, that's important.
No, I bet you I just don't know.
Well, I'm not sure what Chat GPT would feed back to you unless it's very knowledgeable of storyline and was able to tell you that you need to create a variable that's fed by a random number a trigger, and then when this is pressed, that other thing happens, and uh, the basic storyline is pretty basic. Select a cupcake and then select a
Yeah.
message. So there's not a whole lot of story going on here, not a whole lot of character development.
And I know like yeah, I'm just not that skilled yet in some of the text to video and I just don't know. I'm just like I'm behind the curve on that one. I'm lucky I can get some prompts to generate a visual, so but all right.
We are all learning.
Okay. Well, I got one more if you want to see the Mona Lisa one. That's like a different.
Oh,
I'm happy to share
please.
that. Want to do that one? Okay. We got that one pretty quick, so
Yeah, that the Mona Changeo is a real trip.
yeah, let me Mona Changeo. This audio is not as annoying as the Van Morrison, though.
Oh yeah, and I realized that it's only been fairly recently that we're able to put a soundtrack on a project that goes all the way through rather than is specific to a slide.
Oh yeah, and I abuse it every demo.
Good for you.
That's part of my entertainment. I know it's annoying, and that's why I always give, make sure people can, take that volume down because it's for me, it's just part of the fun. So okay, this Mona Lisa one. So again, this was just this actually, I think you might find the AI in here more interesting because it's more visual, but I've been like on a Mona Lisa fine art kick, like on these demos recently. I did one that's like who did it better, the AI or the artist?
Mhm.
And that led me to like this Mona Lisa one. Like it's so easy to abuse the Mona Lisa because there's so much on the internet and it's such a meme or a pastiche, that speaking of text to video or text to storyline thing, a storyline course, I was really practicing my prompting because I was getting crap generated out of Dolly and all these things. I go, must be, again, like I just said, it's not doing what I want it to do. It's just doing what I tell it to do. So I asked Chat GPT to write my prompts and I started doing that. I think machine talking to machine.
Mhm.
So this is what I did in this one. So it's got some AI generated visuals that were created with prompts from Chat GPT.
That
So
is brilliant. Ask AI to write the AI prompt.
yeah, it was kind of like mine weren't specific enough. So, and I said like in this project over here, this 452, that's like where I kind of like learned a lot, like how to get the prompts written to generate what you closer to what you want. I guess it never does what you want, but okay. So I'll show you. This is what just poses the question. What if Leonardo had been born at a different time, different place, different cultures, and what might the Mona Lisa have looked like if he had done that? So it's just to play around. So okay, it'll start with audio and then I'll turn it down. It's kind of like this airy, breezy sound. So okay, so I'll turn it down. You get the idea there. There's like just like a couple big components of this thing. There's a dial. This was one of the e-learning challenges, like using dials. I hate dials. I don't like using them, especially since I injured my neck. I can't even run them I can't drag a mouse anymore, so they're really hard for me to use. And they're not my favorite thing, but if for a challenge, like I'll do it.
Yeah, there may be an accessibility issue there as well.
Yeah, which is why now, and I thank everybody who's ever like, I think, did I see Samuel on here? Samuel was the first person I ever saw use keystrokes and stuff.
Oh,
So
yes, Samuel is now among us. Hello, Samuel. Welcome.
yeah. And whenever I use a keystroke to do something, I always think of Samuel because he's the first person who I had to look at one of his projects to go, how is that working? Oh, you hit a K and it does this. I get it. So, but I try to do it now because I really having a hard time with a mouse. So, but the idea here is we're going to explore by using this dial. And we're going to change the dial. There's only 12 stops in here because 360 divides by 12 really nice. And I didn't feel like doing 40. So but you move the dial and we're going to see potentially like what the Mona Lisa could have looked like if Leonardo had done it at a different time. So move the dial. It's a variable. It's going to move. And then there's wherever the dial ends up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's going to change the visual that we see and it's going to open a layer. So it's going to change. Behind this is the portrait of the Mona Lisa that we're going to explore. And over here is going to be copy about the era. So I'll use the dial once or twice, then I'll convert over to this because it's too hard for me to spin. So okay, so if Leonardo had been born in 1350 BC, he might have made the Mona Lisa. And this is one of the AI generated visuals of what the Mona Lisa could have looked like in 1350. I'll move the dial again. So what if it was 200 AD during the Han Dynasty, and we might have had the Lotus Lisa. So, so now I'll just finish doing like the rest of them. So, Middle Ages, Santa Lisa. I thought this one was pretty good, the way they turned her into the, medieval saint. I really like the halo here. That's pretty over the top, but it's kind of cool.
And did you say you were using Dolly to do this?
Yeah, I used Dolly and I just had it generate over and over again the same question. What if the Mona Lisa had been painted during the Han Dynasty? And I would get like some of the depiction of what the Han Dynasty, that helped like with the kimono and what was in the background and the hair ornaments. So yeah, I just kept playing with it until I got something that I liked. So this would have been Monet Lisa and the Impressionistic period, Nouveau Lisa. Hey, there's a little tribute to San Diego at the end here. This is Cubist Lisa, Dada Lisa, Modern Lisa, Pop Goes Lisa. I mean, just as I said, that's why she's so easy to generate stuff with because her face is so well known. Bisa Lisa is the Bisa Butler quilt artist that kind of borrowed from that. I thought that was pretty cool. And then here's the Barrio Lisa from San Diego's Chicano Park there. So I like that one a lot. So I had just been there last year. So yeah, so it's just, I don't know if, well, you guys, many of you might live down there. So like this area with all the Barrio visuals and everything. So I thought that one was pretty vibrant.
Yes. Are the descriptions AI generated, or did you write those from scratch?
Probably half and half. Like if
Okay.
I needed like this part, like what it said, just she would have been a cultural icon, activist, or community pillar. That was what they added about it. What goes on in Chicano Park that I, might not have like thought of on my own. So
Mhm.
they added the color commentary for this one. So yeah, so all this variable, all we're doing is moving this dial around, and there's 12 of them, and you can go forward or backward, or it could have been a tabs interaction. It's just like the e-learning challenge was for a dial, so I made a dial, even though I hate dials and can't use them. So
Yeah, very thematic though. That works well.
yeah. So let me pull this. Okay, so here's my file. I'll show you how the variables work in here, and then we can look at the trigger. Is this working for everybody? I mean, we're at 6:40,
Yeah.
done in 5 minutes. So here's the dial, and this is there's only 12, dials. Got you could have what 360, I guess, right? 360. I never really thought about it. No, I guess you could have 900. You could make the dial go around like 10 times in it, but I just have it going around once with 12 different stops. And every time it moves, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just saying when it's 5, show this, change the state of the picture to Impressionist Mona Lisa, Monet Lisa, and open up the layer that's got the description in it. So
And does the layer contain both the image and the text?
nope. What the image has
Oh.
is, I'll show you, it's two different things going on because I couldn't think of another way to do it. Maybe if I'd thought about it longer, I could have I could have thought of something else. So I'll get rid of the instructions. I'll get rid of that right now. So this is just a cover. But this is the Mona Lisa portrait, and it's got all 12. So it starts out like that because I wanted the backdrop for the instructions. State 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see them here. And then it's got, depending on who I'm talking about, if we're talking about Santa Lisa, that layer opens. And it's just everything's, oh, the one thing I did on the layers though, which is always like one of those things I don't remember where I learned is like, you only want one layer coming up at a time. So you got to make sure you hide the other layers. So you only get one description and you get a description that corresponds with the visual that you want to show. So here's what the trigger panel looks like. So set the state of the Mona portrait to 1. We'll just do it. This is just a copy and paste. Set the state of Mona's portrait to 1. When the variable changes, the dial, I called it Vitruvian dial, and when Vitruvian dial is 1. So the dial can only go 1 to 12, and then every time it moves, it's going to change the picture. And then when it does move, it's going to open up a layer to go with that. So show layer. Well, I'll just pick up number 2, but this is for everyone. Show layer 2, the Lotus Lisa, when the variable changes if the Vitruvian dial is 2. So the dial is opening up a layer and it's changing the state of the picture. That's really all that's going on there.
That makes it very intuitive that your layers have both a number and a meaningful name.
Well, that's because I was paying attention that day.
That's good.
Otherwise, it would have been layer 1, layer 2, layer 3.
Yeah.
But I was thinking sometimes I know when I share my files, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they must think I'm such a moron, because I didn't name it. So I'm only was thinking okay, I don't want to be embarrassed if someone takes one of my files and goes, what the hell was she doing? So anyway, that's the key to that one. So this one was pretty easy. It just took it took more time to generate the Mona Lisa pictures than anything, and to find ones that I thought were, had equal quality and, just looked like something I would like looking at. So it was fun. I actually learned a lot about how to ask AI to do things for me. So,
Right
so
now,
who was it? Erwin asked about AI to develop a storyline, or I just not that skilled yet. So
there are some YouTubes on it. I just looked while we were talking.
mhm. Well, I'm glad I'm old then, because by the time that, in a couple years when everyone's doing that, I'll be done. So
yes.
You asked
I'll
it
have
to
to find
give
other
you,
ways for fun.
use it to develop 12 photos.
Yeah. The only thing on the AI art that I haven't figured out, if someone has an idea, like the cupcakes, for example. Like there was an artist who actually sat down and said, I'm going to make, the art I had was 40 cupcakes, and they all had the same look, the same feel, the same caliber of art. So somebody actually sat and thought a long time and made this set. Like I like using things that look like a set that goes together. That's my
Right.
advertising background, actually having seen so many, concept recommendations. And they used to make animatics, and it really mattered. I don't know, to me, to see things that actually looked like it all had a cohesive look. So I'm still a vector art customer, because I know that there's an artist out there who spent a lot of time making cupcakes or or milkshakes or whatever. And it's just a matter of finding the right set. Sometimes I don't find the right art, and then I have to come up. Usually I start with the art first. That's what inspires me. What can I do with this art? Which is backwards, but
Right. Right.
still.
Yeah.
So
The artist business has just become a lot more complicated now in terms of trying to get paid for
oh yeah.
what is done with your. I think this is a full employment art for copyright intellectual property lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah. I did notice, interesting you said that when I was trying to generate visuals. I wanted a Mona Lisa that looked like Picasso had done it for the Cubist thing. And the minute you say Picasso, you get kicked out because you violated some kind of
Oh no.
open AI rule. This was in Chat GPT anyway. It's like you violated our rules because you're asking for something that's copyright. I mean, Picasso's not exactly just painted yesterday,
Well, Picasso is also the name of a software application, I believe. So maybe
Yeah.
that was the issue.
Well, no, it was just the way
No,
I was asking it to generate. Oh, good. Yeah. Was that Rebecca?
yeah,
How
yeah.
to
I've
generate the
experienced
art?
that too. If you
Yeah.
are, I think it's to help protect, artists.
Yep.
So if you're saying if you
Yep.
want something in the style of a particular artist,
Yep.
they don't let you do that.
Yeah. Unless he's really dead 500 years, because they let you do it with Da Vinci, but they won't let you do it with someone, who's, been alive in the more recent past. So
Oh, that's it. I'm glad that they have that protection. That's
yeah, it's good. It's good. But, I didn't, like I said, I think the prompt I wanted was, please generate a reimagine an image of the Mona Lisa as if it had been painted by Pablo Picasso in the style of, what's it, La Demoiselle d'Avignon, so that was too specific. So if you ask like in the style of the Cubists, like Pablo Picasso, and like if you make it more general, you can get there, but it was more just a matter of playing around with the request to see how I could get what I wanted. And yeah, it was interesting. Like I see like, yeah, Rebecca, like it's total protection from these, people are getting ripped off right and left. So
Right.
everybody is, so it's good.
And on the cupcakes, I can imagine writing a prompt that says, give me 40 variations on a cupcake in a similar style. So you're not
Yeah.
specifying the style, but just saying it needs to have a certain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isolated on a white background, no shadows, you pick the style art that you want. But then it generates, I don't know if it generates something that you can, if it generated vector art, that would be great, because then you can play around with it. So it generates PNGs and JPEGs, and it's hey, we're only like 2 years in, so who knows? It's gonna, by October, I'm sure someone will have figured that out.
Yeah, like Kevin mentioned last month, that AI is the worst that it will ever be.
Yeah, yeah.
And as for the images you mentioned earlier that you worked with it, are you able to call up a image and then say, well, I think it needs to be a little more formal, or make
Yep.
it a little more colorful? So
Yeah.
you maintain that image on the screen, and then the AI does the revision for you.
Yeah, you can say, oh gosh, I meant to ask you to have that isolated on white or something. Or yeah, some of them you can go and they go, how did I do? Like, pretty good. Could you do this? So, and that's actually just like working with an art director in an ad agency, and then they throw you out of their office when you do that too many times. So
Right. Well,
no, it was a good learning experience. So I mean, actually I don't even use Google anymore. I go right to Chat GPT. I got the better license, or whatever one is open. And I'm sure there's ones that everybody likes certain ones. You know, uh, translate my MRI for me.
right.
It does everything. I did it today. I could not figure out how to get. It's such a stupid thing. I couldn't figure out how to get. I have a game that I'm supposed to be creating, and it has 4 different scores, and I couldn't get it to add up into a final score. I was like, well, I was just saying, like, I feel like I'm learning this the first time ever. Like, I've done this a million times. Why is my head like such a blank on this? And I just asked ChatGPT, how do I add 4 different number variables and articulate? And I went, oh yeah, of course, that's the right way to do it. So, but yeah, it's like I don't even bother remembering, because it's like you don't have to remember. It's like right there.
Right.
But anyway, well, thanks for like giving me the opportunity to show these little doodad projects. They were fun.
Oh, well, thank you very much for sharing that. Does anybody have any further questions? Well, we have the opportunity to ask.
How long would it take you to build from the idea to the output, the Mona Lisa story, for example?
That one, that was probably like um football, I think, was still on. I measured things and how many baseball games were just on, or how many Investigation Discovery, Evil Lives Here episodes. So it's like 8 episodes of Evil Lives Here, 8 hours, maybe 2 days. I'm working on one. I guess there's a roulette challenge coming up. Daniel and Sam will probably already have theirs already. It's taken me 4 days to get my head around how to work it. So, because I had the time, I have a break in between projects. So, and some of them, like that one's going to take me 4 or 5 days, which is stupid. It's just dumb to spend that much time on it, but I learned a lot about how to work it. So,
Yeah, a lot of time goes into those, and I appreciate you spending that time. Any further comments or questions?
no, thank you. I just realized we were recorded, so I hope I didn't say anything like really stupid.
No, it was a great,
Can you
great
check the
presentation.
transcript and chat GPT and look for any insults or anything.
Oh, Daniel,
Thank you.
do you intend to have your hand up there? Okay. Oh, you're applying. Very
Oh, thank
appropriate.
you.
Yeah.
I
So,
love our community. I love this. Like, I love like the storyline community. I don't do much social media because I don't like people enough, but this I really like. Like when Daniel says this is relaxing, like I agree with him. And you know, when you work by yourself all day and you know, not in a cube anymore, but like I don't talk to anybody. So this is as much
Same.
talking as
Same,
I
same.
do. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice to
Well,
be
you
able
used
to
to have
talk
kids to
shop.
talk to. I need a dog.
They are available. Yes. Not hard. Okay. With that, good night, everybody. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
participating. Very, very nice to
Thank
see
you,
you all again.
Jody.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Jody.
Thank
That
you,
was
Jody.
excellent.
See you, May. Thank you.